YouTube, Mad Dog here. Welcome back to my channel. So this video is a bit of a response video really, in some ways, to my good mate Dell. He's recently done a video regarding some of the fire kits that he likes to make and carry, which is always good. It's always informative. On a side note, Dell is nearly at 1,000 subs, similar position to where I'm at, and he is also going to be doing a giveaway competition for his 1,000th subscriber. So please, if you haven't already done so, go over to Prepper's channel, check him out. He's a great bloke, real sound, proper earthy family guy. Really like him a lot. He does some great content, great reviews, a lot of kit reviews. He loves his fire kits, you know, and I can't fault him for that. He's a real nice, genuine fella. He always goes out his way to support our community, the YouTube community, and his local businesses. You know, he's a genuine, salt of the earth guy. I really respect him, so please go and subscribe him, show him some love. Let's try and get him up to that magic 1,000. It really is worth doing that support. So go over there, please. Tell him Mad Dog sent you, and I appreciate it. Thank you. So back to the video that I'm showing you guys and lasses. I like to call this little kit a surefire pocket kit. Not necessarily a survival kit or a bushcraft kit, really. It's just a go-to, I need a fire lit kit, no nonsense, let's get the job done. So I'll show you it. I do carry it. It's in my pocket here, hopefully. And basically it's this small kit here. Made my own little leather pouch, rough ass leather pouch for it. Little toggle fastener there, which is incidentally made of fat wood. So we'll pop this bad boy open, and straight out comes one of the little magic rekindling tea lights, you know, the birthday lights that when you blow them out they rekindle. You've seen them in my survival tins, but that's just a bit of a side note. So I'll empty the guts of this little kit out and I'll show you what's in here. Nothing flash or fancy in here, but everything that is in here works. So inside of the pouch is a small tin. It's just a cheap mint tin. I think it came from Aldi or somewhere. And on the top of that, I don't know if you'll see, I've wrapped some Gorilla Tape, just a couple of turns around it. I'll show you what that's for later on. And also around the top, obviously to try and stop any water ingress. But also I've overlapped it, I've just left it a little bit long, if you can see over the lid, and that just retains this little torch nicely in that top portion. So it's one of these cheap button torches, dead cheap and cheerful. I've pulled the key ring off for a reason. I don't know if any of you guys and lasses have truly had to try and light a fire in the dark. It's not easy. It genuinely is not easy, even with basic reliable kit. So I like these because you can switch them on, stick it in your gob and go about your business wherever your head turns. You know, you've got some local lighting, a bit like the Apache helicopter gunship sort of pilot, you know, wherever his head turns the machine gun follows. So it's, joking aside, it's a good worthwhile little tip is always have a small torch with your fire kit, as is this. You probably saw when I emptied the pouch out, sits at the back of the tin. A very small folding knife, no explanation needed here at all. UK legal, it's non-locking, less than 3 inches. Not necessarily for cutting in a bushcraft survival scenario, but it's enough to scrape off small pieces of birch bark, small shavings of pine wood close to the tree where the tree meets a limb. That's where you're going to get some fat wood content, etc. Carving pieces of polyp or mushroom, or using the back of it to scrape tinder into a bird's nest. You get the idea. Even, you know, jute twine, just scraping it into a nice fibrous nest. So always worth having a small cutting blade, preferably a UK legal carry one. And then I might as well go down to the rest of this gear, which is basically very small splinters of high resin pine wood. I'll say high resin pine wood, some of it isn't all fat wood. So we have got pieces of fat wood in here, but they're only very small slivers. Okay, and I've just got them few pieces. So once I've got my fire from my tin, which I'm going to show you now, established, I can use that as an extender whilst I'm getting my tinder up to a temperature where it will burn, especially in wet conditions, which, let's face it, over in the UK is pretty much all the bloody time. Ladies present. So let's just take that bit of Gorilla Tape off, and it's just a little flip up lid thing. So first out, this isn't a plug, my next video will be, a Mag Dog Dual. They're waterproof, they're very effective in the wind, the snow and adverse conditions. I do recommend them, and I carry them myself, so not just a plug, I do recommend them. And inside the tin, I've made it relatively easy to get your fingers in there for a small opening. I've got, first out, small ferrocerium rod with a bit of duct tape wrapped around its backside for a handle, and then I've got the pouches in here, just crammed in here, which is basically some very small fatwood shavings and some Maya dust in there as well, which is fatwood shaved down to dust, for all you guys and lasses that don't know. I have a bag compressed with, there's just a couple of cotton balls heavily dressed with Vaseline. Like I've said, nothing flashy fancy, I'm not rewriting the book here, it just works. And then inside I have yet another ferrocerium rod. You might be in the dark, you might be cold and wet, carry two in case you lose one. The same with the strikers, just hacksaw blades, pieces of hacksaw blade. All I've done with the ferro rods is prepare them a little ways by taking off the black coating in advance, so that when I come to do it for real, there's no faffing, no messing. I know I'm going to get some good sparks. And that is basically empty. Now, whilst I haven't shown you anything new, I would gladly take this kit pretty much anywhere, anytime, and I know that I can get a fire going. And that's why I've made it as small and as compact as I can, practically, without it being such a fiddle where it becomes impractical when your hands are numb and cold and wet. And it works. So I'm going to take it outside in a minute, get the fire pit lit up with some, and it is damp and wet out there, using the contents of this, and stay with me and we'll see how we get on. Yeah. Okay, we're back outside the shed now, and I've got the contents of the little pocket fire kit. I'm just going to put them down on this bit of decking here, and I'm sorry for the bad lighting conditions, but that is partly why I'm doing this exercise, so that you can see in a dark environment it isn't easy to get your fire lit with a basic kit. So let's crack on and see how we perform. So I'm putting the contents down onto the ground, and I'm looking for my torch, a small button torch which I've found, which now I know by feel that I can switch that on, put that into my mouth, and now I can see the rest of my kit. By putting it in my mouth will alleviate the fact that I can use both my hands now. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to unwrap the two cotton balls dressed in Vaseline first, followed by the fatwood shavings, and then in conjunction with the fatwood splinters get the fire established, and show you where the little bit of Gorilla Tape trick comes into play, so stay with me. I've got the Vaseline and cotton ball out of the packaging, and the gaffer tape, the Gorilla Tape off the kit. I'm going to stab that now with a piece of the splinter of fatwood, just to hold it in place while I ignite that. But before doing so, I'm going to get the fatwood shavings ready. Stay with me and I'll show you what I do with that. Okay, I've got some of the fat wood shavings out the little bag, and what I'm going to attempt to do now is actually stick them to the back side of that Gorilla tape, because if this was a windy condition out here tonight, your small particles of fat wood will simply be blown away, lost forever, and doing it this way you've got a better chance of increasing your longevity of your initial fire lay. So let me just demonstrate. So now I've got a nice little parcel of fat wood shavings which I can add straight onto my cotton ball once that has taken ignition off the ferro rod, which will extend our flame pretty much immediately. So let's put it all together now. So that's our initial fire lay. Now onto that we can add our kindling, which we would have prepared prior to making any fire. That's just common sense. In this case, this is just old dried wood off my grapevine. Any dry kindling, get that straight on there. Not worried about it being pretty. I want plenty of airflow, allowing the heat to rise through that dry stuff, creating a good hot bed of coals. Give it time, don't overrush it. You'll probably hear it hissing. That's forcing all the moisture and the rain and steam out of that kindling. Just as a footnote, everybody knows this, but for newcomers, those of you that don't know, good kindling should be this sort of size, so half of a pencil size, and when you snap it, it should snap. It shouldn't bind or bend, because that means it's still green and wet. It should have a nice clear crisp snap like a breaking bone. Then you know that it's perfectly dry and good to go. Once the flames on your fire lay are now past the top of your kindling, that's time to get your bigger fuel starting. Evenly spread it out, so you're still allowing airflow through that fire lay. You give that a few minutes and you're good to go in pretty much any conditions. Once that big wood has taken hold, even if it does start raining, you're going to have to go some to put that fire out then, so that should be a good fire lay. And we've still got enough kit here. We've got a couple of ferro rods, we've got the emergency candle, another petroleum jelly, Vaseline cotton ball, we've still got some fat wood shavings, we've still got plenty of duct tape, all of which can be used to make fire, and the small knife for collecting more tinder, and obviously when things are really bad, the mad dog Joel. Anyway, I hope this has been useful. I'm going to cut back into the shed now and sign off and wish you all a happy new year. Stay with me. Yeah. Okay, so we're back inside the shed, and just to wrap this video up, we've got the remnants of our fire kit, which I still feel confident that I'd be able to cut the cotton ball in half, if not three. There's 3 fires, etc. I'm not going to ramble on, but there is still a lot of resource here to establish many more fires from basically a kit which literally is pocket sized. So don't have to be flash or fancy, and this isn't practicing you know, old school fire making methods. It's just, let's get a fire lit, no nonsense, let's go to it. However, that being said, my next video will be a plug, I'm afraid. I've got another little project or product that is going to be available on my little eBay shop as from tonight. Basically it's a flint and a charred jute netting kit for primitive firelighting skill practice, if you like. So please go and check that out. I will put a link in the description below, as I will to Prepper Dell's channel. Please go and subscribe to that fella. He's a proper nice bloke. I really wish him all the best, as I do for everybody else. Thank you all very much for continually watching my stuff and your continued support. I'm nearly 1,000 subs myself, and I will be doing a giveaway, as is Prepper, and I can't believe how it's got this far. It's fantastic. I really enjoy doing this sort of stuff. I've got a lot more different content coming up soon, so please stay with me, stay tuned, as they say. And that all aside, I wish each and every one of you a very happy new year. Whatever you're all doing, very best wishes for the new year. Take care of each other, stay happy, have fun, and season's greetings and all that. Wherever you are in the world, best wishes, take care. Mad Dog signing off. Yeah!